it was a perfect segue. Leslie was talking about the importance of collecting emails and how to nurture and convert those emails into paying customers. And that's pretty much what we're about to talk about, I think, right, Ryan?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I was listening. It was a great setup. Probably wasn't planned, but appreciate it.
Perfect. Awesome. This is Ryan Pinkham, everybody from Privy. I'm going to let him take it away.
Cool. Awesome. Well, it's great to be here. I appreciate everyone tuning in, taking the time to learn about what we're going to talk today, which is really all around website conversion. And when you're talking about selling online, in the fashion and apparel space, so much of our customer base here at Privy falls into this market. If you're not familiar with Privy, Privy is the #1 app for increasing your sales on Shopify today. We have tools for website conversion, email, text, and SMS, and it's really focused on helping e-commerce brands sell more. And what we're going to talk about today is really around the conversion side of that, with a really clear focus on growing your email list. So just quickly, so I'm Ryan. I've been with the Privy team for just about 7 months now. For the first 6 months, I was leading our demand generation team. I've now started to run all of our revenue operations, including sales. And so like a lot of you, I spent a lot of time thinking about how do we grow our business? How do we attract and convert more customers? Today, I'm really going to talk about really 2 schools of thought. So one, we're going to talk about website conversion, what it means, why it's so important. And then really try to get as tactical as I can and talk about the plays that if you're not running today, you should consider running on your e-commerce store. And this is not just focused on how you convert new customers, but also for the existing customers who are coming back, who have engaged with your brand. What can you do to do things like increasing average order value or drive repeat sales? Really, I want everyone to walk away understanding that one, why it's so important in growing your lists and how to get started, how you can increase your average order value. So not just about getting new contacts onto your list, but also for people that you're then driving back, how do you get more value out of those customers? And like I said, we're going to talk through these plays that you can run really tactically, whether you're using a tool like Privy or, there's a lot of apps out there to allow you to do this. And so I'll do my best. I don't want this at all to be a overall product Privy pitch, but the world we work in and we've learned from over 500,000 e-commerce brands. And so we're going to share some stories and examples along the way, but keep in mind that whether using Privy or doing this on your own, there are plenty of ways that you can run a lot of these tactics we're going to talk through today. So let's start with the basic, and I'm sure most people here have a good concept around this, so I don't want to stay too high level here, but everyone knows email is an important channel in marketing. I really want to dig into kind of the next level of why. And when we talk to our customers, our most successful e-commerce brands, whether they're in the fashion apparel space or selling any other product, we routinely hear from people who say one of the biggest mistakes that they've made is not growing their list earlier, because you really can see that benefit as you're building that audience. It's also, when you look at Toby, the CEO of Shopify, one of the things that they really advocate for, and other companies do as well, is email as really an owned channel. It's the one channel that you really own and have ownership over, whereas it doesn't mean you won't do paid and these other things or be on social, but it's the one channel that regardless of anything that changes, algorithms, paid budgets, we see trends in search go up and down. It's the one channel that you really own and have contacts with. And yes, people do have the option to opt out, but if you're doing a good job in building those relationships, you'll always know that for the people who want to hear from you, you'll be able to connect with them. There's also direct monetary value here. And so when we look at our customers across our e-commerce customer base, we found that on average, an email address equates to around just under $16 per email address in their database. And so when you're talking about growing your list to hundreds or thousands of tens of thousands of people, the opportunity really is huge here. And it's just a really clear example of what we're seeing from our customers and the sort of revenues you can drive. And really at the end of the day, why you want to build this audience is so, one, you'll have these people on your database. So if they do come to your store and eventually leave, you can bring them back with things like abandoned cart recovery emails, which will be really key to your success. Also, just when running promotions or special offers. And then finally, the concept of a newsletter to really just stay in touch with people, let them know about your latest product releases and things that you have going on. From a brand building perspective, it's really hard to overstate the value that these tools can play. And so let's talk quickly about transition from the why behind this and really on the what. What are the things that we're seeing from the most successful e-commerce brands? And I have a lot of examples in here, and I'll try to speak the best I can and what we're seeing for people in the fashion and apparel space. But there's a lot of examples in here around the types of plays you can be running. And you don't have to feel like you have to be doing all of this. In most cases, a site won't want to run all of this. This can be very noisy. But if you're tactically thinking about different audiences that you're attracting, how people are finding you, thinking about where you're investing your budget to bring people to your site, at different points of a customer's journey and finding you, you can think about the different touch points and how to convert these customers. So just quickly, one question we always hear is like, what's a good benchmark here? So a lot of brands will have just a subscription on their website that if you wanted to opt into updates. In other cases, you may actually be offering something like a coupon or discount or some special giveaway. And then we also see people doing more creative things, kind of gamifying things a bit with like our spin to win examples here. And across these, what we typically see is the average conversion rate on just a basic email subscription opt-in to get updates is around 1%. For when there's a little bit more of an incentive, it's around 5%. And for some of these different creative concepts, while we always do try to be cautious to say probably won't want to run these on every page of your website, but when you are trying to gamify things a bit, we see these around 10%. The two types of campaigns we're really going to focus on today are both around new customers and repeat customers. And on the new customer side, what you're going to want to think about is how are you going to incentivize a new sale and collect an email address? Whereas on the repeat customer side of things, you really want to be thinking about how you can drive repeat sales and increase that average order value. And so we're going to start by talking about new customers, since I know that's really top of mind for a lot of people. How are you going to convert some of the new people and start to really build that audience for your brand? And the first example I'll go through, and play number one, is the welcome discount. This isn't a new concept. This is something that a lot of e-commerce brands are doing today. But some of the concepts behind this are really important. So what you're really focusing on here is not giving away too much when someone first comes to your site. One of the mistakes we see a lot of times is people organically will just, if they're doing a 10% coupon, they'll just put that on the site, or a free giveaway, they'll just put that on the site. And we really, if your goal is to convert these people to opt in, you want to make sure that you're setting this up in a way that's going to get these new people to have an interest in taking action. So we recommend around a 10% coupon in some cases. And again, this will really vary based on your average order value. And so be mindful of that. Here, you're going to be thinking about targeting new visitors. This probably isn't the best for repeat visitors who may already know you. And this is really a traditional pop-up play. And so we have one example here that's really straightforward, 10% off and free shipping. And shipping is another great example of how you can leverage this. So if you're a brand like a lot who are very nervous or cautious about giving away too much from a discounting perspective, think about things like shipping or time to value, those sorts of things. Another example here where it's 15% off that first purchase when you opt in, and another one here where you're really trying to match your brand, the look and feel of what you're offering with a discount that really provides a great seamless experience for people. So that's just thinking about new visitors, and specifically new visitors who may find you organically. It's really key here, and I think the last presenter really hit on this well, which is to say, you're not going to always have the benefit of just driving people to your site organically. At some point, you're going to have to invest in paid strategy. And when you do that, you're going to want to think a little bit differently about how you're going to convert those visitors, because Yes, you're spending money to bring them to your site. Yes, you would like them to convert to your email list, but really what's most important to you is shortening that time from someone finding you and actually making that purchase. And so what we recommend here are two different types of campaigns you may want to run. A pop-up or a spin to win, and I'll show examples of each. And here you're really going to be targeting whether you're going through Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat, using the UTM from the URL that you're driving to your site to target to just those users. And what you're going to notice a little bit different here is that, yes, you can certainly lock a code or discount code behind for getting an email address, but also think about how you can use this to, even if they didn't opt in, they could go use this. The worst case scenario here is that they're going to go and make a purchase, which is ultimately the goal that you're trying to drive when you're thinking about spending dollars to get people to your site. So a similar example here, in this one, they're giving different options, right? So you may have in your brand have something similar that you could go run. And the spin to win, and this one to us, again, you want to make sure it really fits your brand. If you're a higher end brand, more luxury, you may not want to go this route. But if you have, a more playful brand and a clothing you're selling, your audience better than anyone. This can be a great way, particularly on the paid side, because it's really going to encourage people to take action. We already talked through how you see the highest engagement, but again, be really selective about how you use these. So a lot of those are about your new customers. Then we can also talk about kind of the cart savers. Now, the cart saver is this whole idea of people who come to your site, put items in your cart and leave. And a lot of people, think about this problem, try to deal with this problem the best they can. If you're using something like Shopify, they have some automated emails and things, but you really do want to think carefully about how you're going to stop people before they leave and look for those opportunities. And so the way that we would do this is really targeting off of exit intent. So rather than thinking about your new visitors when they come in here, you're thinking about people who have added items to your cart and trying to get them exit intent with a compelling offer. And a great way to do this is with a discount that really engages people and makes them want to take action. You can do that with an offer. Again, free shipping here is a great example, or an upsell offer. Or really target the fact that they have items in their cart. And so don't just say, hey, here's 10% off when you make a purchase, but no, it's 20% off for everything in your cart. And as a shopper, what I'm going to see is, oh, wow, this is a short-term opportunity for me to actually save on this when I was about to go leave the site. And so those are some of the examples we talked about when it comes to new customers. Just quickly here, I think then we can pivot and think about what about your existing customers who are coming back? Are there opportunities from a conversion standpoint to drive more value there? And so the VIP offer that we're talking about here is just another opportunity for you to do that. And the best way you can do that is that you can actually, when you are, when you do have people that you're driving to your site through things like email, you can actually have something that when they land on the site through targeting, puts an offer out there that they could actually then opt into. And this is a great way to really make people feel special, feel valued, feel like they're engaged with your brand. And we really recommend something like this. And so there's the concept of how do you drive additional sales from your existing customers. And then there's a concept of when I'm going through a checkout flow, I've already made the choice to put an item in my cart. I'm actually going through checkout, really selling them on additional value here. And so, this is a great example, I think, particularly for folks that are in, apparel or fashion, where you're selling clothing online, where there's so many accessories and things that can go together that not everyone's going to take the time to go through and find all their sizes and find all the different items that you offer. And so an upsell or cross-sell offer is a great way to do that. And so when someone's going through the checkout flow and they're about to check out, can you have recommended items in your cart that would actually let people know, oh, hey, you're buying the necklace. Would you like to buy the jewelry? Or you're buying one item and here's another recommended item. We see examples of people doing things like complete the look. Yeah, I think this is a great example here where, you've already have people who are making that choice to make a purchase. And what you're doing here is really adding that additional value. And so whether you're doing that with two items that may seem unrelated, where in this case it's a brand that isn't in the fashion space but is using clothing to upsell here. The other thing I think that is a great thing to think about here is how do you really show that additional value. And so putting cost right there when someone is checking out, if there's an additional discount to go with that, you're really, when someone's in the purchasing mindset, it's really a unique opportunity for you to reposition another offer for you to do that. So to recap on these, we went through the different examples that you can run, 5 really concrete examples that if you have an e-commerce store today set up and you're already having people go to your site, these are some of the things you can do. You can think about the new visitors that you have coming in and think of them in one bucket. How are you going to convert those people? What are you going to offer to either get them to make a purchase or to opt into your email list? Then you have the people who are not coming organically, but that you're very targeted, at least going and spending money to bring to your site. Many of them are going to be new. If you think about going through things like paid social, probably have never heard of you before, but you're spending money to get them there. How do you convert those visitors? We've talked through some of those examples. Then you have your cart savers or exit intent type offers, which are a whole segment of people who are on your site. They're going to make a purchase and they're going to leave. How do you make sure you keep them there and actually convert them and make that sale? You have your VIP discounts, right, which are for the people who already love you. They've recommended you. They're your most engaged people. Any email tool you're using today, whether it's Privy or someone else, you should be able to send a really targeted email. And then based off of that, you can target the offer when they land on your site with a great offer, something like that. And then finally, just to wrap up here, there's the cross-sell or upsell offer, which I think is particularly relevant for this audience. And I would really encourage, if you're not doing something today, whether it's native in your checkout experience or with a third-party app, that you definitely check that out. So that's what I have for you today. Hopefully, everyone can walk away with at least one of these plays that will make sense for their brand. My quick pitch, if you are interested at all in learning about Privy, we offer a free version of the tool. We do have a trial. And if you are looking to buy this month and get started with a product like ours, we are offering 30% off for anyone who's in attendance. My email address is here. Just shoot me. That's my personal email. I'll get that on my phone and I'll see it here. And I can get you a code to get you access to that. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. This has been awesome. And if we have time, I'm happy to answer any questions. If not, thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Perfect timing on that. We're ready to move into our next session. I love the cross-sell upsell offer. There is something I think a lot of brands are missing, and it's a huge opportunity to push that into the cart. And so there's another tool people are going to hear about. Yours is on the cart page, which is perfect. If you're on Shopify Plus, there's a tool called Order Bump that does this on the checkout in such a slick way. And I think you want to do these things, in a few stages of the funnel. Typically, you're going to see it on the product detail page, on the cart page, and then there deep in the checkout. And then, of course, on the retention path via email and that post-purchase page. Some people have the one-click upsell, one-click post-purchase upsell, all those things. We could go on about that for days, but I love this. This concept is just really simple, and only 10% of people have to pick up on that offer for it to make a big impact on your business. So I hope people take that away and start using it. And of course, the other tools and pop-ups and ways to collect email and market people are also very valuable. But that's one that always sticks with me because it really it changes that revenue metric, that profit metric, from like a cost of acquisition to lifetime value component. So I love it. Awesome.
Cool.
We've shared your email here with people. If you do want to take him up on his offer, you can email Ryan Pinkham at privy.com and get started on a trial. Check out their tool. It is like the coolest segmentation and automation follow-ups. And sometimes you're using like two tools that aren't talking to each other with email abandoned cart automations. And what you don't realize is that the abandoned cart can't trigger if it's not in the same tool. So by using Privy under one roof can actually change the number of abandoned cart sends you do every month, and therefore the number of abandoned carts recovered, which is obviously really important for your store. All right, that's my plug on Privy. It is definitely a tool worth checking out. Thanks again, Ryan.